Hello everyone. Today I'm going to share a completely different story about the origin of this doll, about the origin of idea, from where I picked up clothes off my wardrobe, clothes which were of no use, but then they turned into a doll. It was a visit to Historic Bovaird house this summer. This is a washing machine. These are few tools, labels of machine, and interiors of house. Museum as a site of investigating and revisiting history. And when these museums are homes of people, they recite a personal song of love and belongingness. This is the baking oven, what it used to be. They open windows into early life of habitants, land and city, their causes and concerns on social and personal, in fact, even on community level. Imagine getting into a place where stories roll. Every living life is a story in some way for the other, and hence in history, endless numbers are recalled. This was an experience in Historic Bovaird House, definitely very much near to our proximity in Brampton. These reflections are great source of learning and sharing cultural growth in multiple perspectives. The aura itself is so enchanting and full of information and knowledge that it becomes tempting to romanticize the past and simpler times. But for the early settler, yes, definitely, life could be brutally hard. The doll you saw in the beginning of the video is a composition, an attempt to imitate the feeling of past, when a child possibly can revisit yesteryears in the form of toy made by somebody close with some shape and same weight, a replicating beyond physical significance, a replication that nurtures and reshapes memory. This idea that feeds thought and actions to respond towards the question, are museums site of memory? A particular section of children room in this house triggered my past with toys and even my mom's handmade dolls. We learned making dolls even in school. It was part of our growing up process. So, a blend of dolls coming from market as well as from our handmade treasures both existed then. A visit to these well preserved homes as museums can make a person realize how comfortable life is today. Even the immigration process and settlement process is much at ease. The historic Bovaird house in Brampton has volunteers who had taken time to maintain and share their knowledge about the place and its history. And under their watchful guidance, a lot grows, not only in terms of experience for the visitor, but also around the house in the form of garden. Further getting in tune with the museum artifacts and art and ambience, learning them and introducing new ideas in the creative process. It's not only visuals a museum gives, a museum also feeds imagination as well as inspire futuristic works. Visitors are not passive recipients. The engagement with collection processed a source of inspiration, as I said, as the associated interpretive material. So, definitely, whatever our associations have been, in past would connect back accordingly in future. So our exposures, our knowledge, our gained experience, everything get transformed. In this room, I spotted tea tins that were manufactured by McDonald Manufacturing Co. And the company produced a long list of tinware from Ontario's first automobile license plates in 1911 to for honey, tobacco, lard, tea, coffee, biscuits, and more. McDonald Manufacturing Co. was one of the first companies to print color designs on the outside of the containers, a process called tin plate lithography. Many tins were pre printed with the supplier's name added on a separately afterwards. The most common tins were for honey and red, gold, black tea tins, which came in many different sizes. This experience generated strong aura of documentation and a desire to capture each and every moment in different formats. It turned out to connect historical objects or material culture to the contemporary process of consuming them. A brand for Bovaird is another recently added value to the existing museum. Barns housed livestock, crops, buggies, wagons, tools, and every conceivable piece of farm equipment and machinery. They also provided workspace for the early farm settler, and he toiled with a multitude of daily jobs and repairs. Prior to World War II, two-thirds of all Canadians lived on farms. However, today most children have never had the opportunity to visit and experience an old barn. From old photographs to paintings to craft, jewelry, textiles, everything was integral part of this house. And everything, each and every piece was so inspiring. Each and every corner was inspiring. This is the image of barn house which was just relocated to this section. It was an intense learning experience in all respects, and these are the outdoors where gardens are being taken care of by the volunteers. But for me, on this day, I took an idea, inspiration, especially from the children's room, a corner where there were dolls and toys, just trying to interact in a completely different manner. A doll is a memory, but all dolls are not Barbie. Some are made by hands with personal conviction of beauty. And this visit in the spring had impacted my creative faculty in an enthusiastic manner. And here you see dolls made by my mom while she taught me as part of one of my installation projects almost a decade back, and we continued our association with doll in different times.